when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you are listening live to 105.3 FM out of Mississippi and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. And this is the thing at the foot of the bed. Now, guys, give me one sec here because, as you guys know, I got to set TikTok up after we go live here. So let's see, open live monitor. Open. Good. Give me one sec. Got to move things around. Sorry when you're producing here, and I appreciate your patience. Now I got to start us on Instagram everywhere. Okay, now I think I did it. Let me add it. One more thing, and then I'll get into our rigmarole that we normally do here. I wish there was a way to do this with before we went live, because I do everything else, but we have to do it while we're live. So, okay. So, like I said, this is the thing at the foot of the bed, UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. I'm Lorilei Potvin, and my amazing co-host David Hanzel is right next to me. I'm going to do most of the housekeeping things, and then I pass it over for the last little housekeeping things that Dave does. So if you celebrate, happy holidays. I hope you had a great holiday. A little bit about myself. I am a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, registered nurse, animal communicator, well-versed in near-death experiences, having had one as a toddler myself and studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years. Extremely well-versed in the paranormal. I always say I didn't go looking for it. It found me. And we've shared our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor Season 4, Episode 9, called Demonic Hauntings. Now, what else do I want to tell you? Yes, I have a second show. I had to think about that. The Angel Rock here on UPRN on Monday nights, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This coming Monday, you guys get to just hang out with me. I didn't book anybody. I saved it because I love hanging out with all you. And we get to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So that will be 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also get a hold of me should you like to. I remembered that. Dave, remind me when you're talking, I'll set up our banner to run across the bottom. If you ever want to book a reading with me, I do teaching and mentoring. I do help with the paranormal, Akashic Records, all kinds of things like that. You can get a hold of me on the facebook.com/The Angel Rock, any social media platform. And what else do I want to tell you? Now I got to have my checkoff list here. Sorry, guys. I know it takes a minute. So if you guys like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends and family. It really is something for everybody on this network. It's just not all UFOs and paranormal. We have multiple shows daily, streaming live 7 days a week. I think we're almost up to 40 live hosts. And when we're not live, the archive server it kind of jumps into we call it the archive server, I guess. And it pulls a show from the last 25 plus years and plays that. So we are streaming live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you want to watch us on TV, the network does have a TV channel. It's on Roku. You're going to sign in to the channel store on Roku and type in UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop-down list. We're about the third or fourth one down. You're looking for UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio. Now, what I tell people is if you can't see us, you can't join the conversation. And the more the merrier. We really do have the best chat. I'm a little biased, but we do. So 80% of our audience is audio only, and this network does broadcast to every country in the world. So again, if you can't see us, you can't join the conversation. So how you can do that, and I'm sorry, it takes a little longer than usual. Sorry, Facebook, you're still not playing nice, so we're using other platforms. So how you can do this is, I'll do Dave's quickly. He's the fastest. So you can go to David Hanzel Medium on Facebook. He's streaming on his Facebook profile. He's also streaming to the Spirit Experience on his YouTube channel. You can also do it with me. Join in with me on my Facebook profile under Lorilei Potvin. It's public, so you don't have to be a friend to join the conversation. We're streaming on my LinkedIn channel under, I think it's either Lorilei Potvin or The Angel Rock. We're streaming on the network's main YouTube channel, which is UFOs. God, I just lost my UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio. It took me a minute because we have two different names. We also have a secondary channel, not streaming there tonight, but we do a backup channel, UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials. We are streaming on my YouTube channel, which is the Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. We're streaming on UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. See, I do know the name of my network. I've only been here for almost 6 years. On Twitch, we're streaming on the Angel Rock on Instagram. So just so you guys know, they don't put your chat in the regular chat with everybody else. So I'll pop back and forth and try and say hello and join in the conversation. But sometimes they cut the feed off after an hour. So you may want to go to YouTube. That's usually the most stable we find. One of the channels I've mentioned. We're streaming on TikTok. Hi, everybody on TikTok. I want to give Michelle Wilfong a huge shout out. She's one of my mods over there. She does a fantastic job for me, and I really appreciate everything she does. She helps keep the chat happy and nice and people, behaving themselves, which we like. She also has her own TikTok channel, which is excellent. She has a haunted apartment, and she actually records multiple videos of activity in her apartment and shares it over there. So check out her channel. Where else are we? And we are streaming, I should tell you, on TikTok under the Angel Rock, and it's either, I think it's Lorilei Potvin, the Angel Rock, so you can find it there. Have I told you everywhere? Let me double check. Oh, lastly, we're streaming on my Rumble channel, and it's under Mystique 1508. I know it gets a little old, but it's true. It's not a stripper name. I picked that name. It was one of my usernames back in the day, and it's actually from X-Men, just so you know. Let me make sure, Dave, I said everything. I think I did. So go ahead, take it away.
Yes, we are streaming to everywhere but the kitchen sink.
There you go.
Actually, coming soon after the kitchen sink.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium. I am a channel. I am well-versed in the paranormal. I've been studying near-death experiences since I had mine in 2015. And that is about it on that side. Hey, you guys, if you are just listening right now, even if you are watching, know that we do have a Facebook page called actually a Facebook group. I'm going to say not page, Facebook group called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel. We are well over what we were asking for in order to start doing live. So if you join that group, what you can do is you can post any spooky stories you have. They don't have to be spooky. They can just be regular paranormal stories. You can post pictures of things. You can give us video suggestions. We post in there all the time. And Lorilei and I will be doing lives within that group doing psychic readings for you guys, because we don't do psychic readings during the show because the podcast isn't about readings. It's about all things spooky, paranormal, and metaphysical and spiritual, and we love that. But we will be doing readings and discuss some things that we can't really discuss here sometimes. So for a little extra content, head over and join us over there. And with that being said, we will say hi to everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. Lorilei, I know, worked her butt off all Christmas for people. I did too. And unfortunately, it happened the second week in a row on Christmas Eve. I had a hour and 45-minute panic attack. And
again, you haven't even told me about that.
I had the second one. It happened a week before, and the police came. They came here because they weren't sure what was happening. Neither was I. I suffered from panic attacks years ago, and after my NDE, they went away. So they're saying they don't know what's triggering them to come back. Like today, fine. Everything's fine. I mean, I couldn't get stressed if you paid me. I'm a different person. But for some reason during the night, it would just happen. And hopefully they're gone again. One doctor had said that sometimes our bodies do revisit those things. If like a stress level changed, I don't know. Who knows?
I told you what my thoughts were. Why?
Yeah, but it just happens. And I've been going through a lot of stuff, not personal bad stuff, just a lot of spiritual and physical things that are happening. So that could be part of it. And it could be too that I vape, and that's not just good for me. And I probably freak out when I when I get like a little chest pain.
You're okay, and it won't get personal. But what my thoughts are, when something pops up that hasn't happened in a long time, I truly believe that the body's language is either pain or unfortunately symptoms like what you've been experiencing. And sometimes it's your body letting you know that it's time to release something that maybe we're
Yeah.
hanging on to that we don't
Oh,
know.
oh, absolutely. I'm a big believer in that, because I was surprised. I had them for 15, 20 years, where they put me in the hospital 2 or 3 times, a week. And I didn't have very good, let's say, professional help. They weren't very good. They were all by the book and don't know what the experience actually is. But like you just said, yeah, there are things I feel like it's revisiting me. When it happened, what made it stop is I asked, what are you trying to show me through this? Because I just want to know so I can leave it behind. And what happens once I start doing that, it starts to subside. So like you said, Lorilei, both of us, we're a very strong believer in our bodies. They don't just do this out of the blue. Stuff happens for a reason.
Always.
Sometimes it's a pain in the butt to figure out the reason, but you know what? We do, and we go on. So that's just how that works. Will's going to say hi to everybody.
Yeah, let's say hi to everybody, and then I'm getting some more messages as I'm listening to you talk. So we can talk. We always talk after, anyways. But let's say hi to everybody. So you got Z Sun Dragon, Kevin. Hi, Laura, and I'm sorry you're going through that too, David. I don't want to make it sound callous.
Oh no, I'm good now.
Hi, Aziz Sun Dragon, or Kevin says, hi, Lorilei. Hi, David. Finally catching alive with being off until tomorrow for the holidays. Yay. Heidi Gall, happiest holiday wishes, Lorilei and David. Everybody saying hi to everybody. Julie Jane Bassett's here. Hi, Lorilei, David, and everyone. I messaged Julie today. I am hoping maybe on the weekend, if Julie's free, we are going to try and go live and do some one-question readings, especially when it comes to animal communication, because she is an incredible animal communicator. And if you were a little late with your gifts, guess what? Julie has gift certificates. Or if you've got someone that wants to know, why is my animal doing what they're doing? Julie is the person to do it. She can do it earthside with animals as a medium as well. She's helped me many times. I took my animal communication course with her. She's also an incredible shamanic practitioner. I had a personal session with her, and it was life-changing. And more than likely over the next couple of weeks, I will be having another one with her. So check her out at juliejanebassett.com. We have Howie Odell. We got to give Howie a huge shout out. He is a big supporter of the UPR network and many of our hosts. And he is the Riff Nation network. He also has his own show, The Orion Effect, which David and I have been on a few times with his co-host, who's a very good friend of mine, Rhonda Harris. So check that out. He's got some great shows over there. Let's see, who else have we got? Let's see. Oh, and speaking, Rhonda Harris. Hi, friends. Happy holidays. Michelle Wilfong. Hello, footies. And again, if you just got here, I gave her a shout out. I'm going to give her a shout out again to Michelle Wilfong. She's my mod over on TikTok, one of them, and she's amazing. Check her TikTok channel out. She's got a haunted apartment, and she records and posts multiple videos daily. She even caught something on one of my videos I recorded Christmas morning that she recorded. So if we get time, I may show you. Shannon K. Casey, hello, friends. Best of the season to you. We also got to say hi to Sean, because I'm sure Sean, her hubby's in the background. Kelly's here. Hi, everyone. Nicole Thomas Ryan. Hi. Christian Kenyon. I hope I said that right. Christian, welcome. Connie Martin says hello. Oh, Heidi Gall says she was close to having an anxiety attack last night. Haven't had one in years either. So interesting. Maybe the energy shifting. We have some interesting topics to talk about tonight, guys.
You hit the nail on the head with that one. I was just saying that to myself when I went to go drive up to the mountains today. I said to myself, today feels different than every other day again.
Mm-hmm.
It happened again. Yeah.
The energy is shifting, definitely. It's very thin too at this time of year. So we've got Jackie Lane. She says, hi, everyone. Let's see. We'll go through. Heidi Gall said, take all those synchronicities and fit them in the puzzle. Definitely. Jennifer M says, hello, footies. Kassoon Lee, hey, guys, I'm still in bed, LOL. As you should be, because it's the middle of the night in Sri Lanka, but thank you for joining us. Let's see. Howie says, okay, I switched channels and came over to Dave's YouTube channel. Awesome. Let's see. Where are we? I'm Soon. I'm not reading that one out, but it is funny.
Yeah.
I'll highlight it.
We know what you meant. It was I thought I caught the first one and I started laughing. See,
That's
you guys,
okay.
if you join our chat, you'll be able to join into this merry fun stuff that we are
Yes.
talking about.
Shannon says, yes, Sean's here. Everybody's saying hi. We really do have the best chat. Everybody's so sweet. I'm not quite sure what you meant there, Christian, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. I'm sure we'll figure it out as we go along. So let me check out Instagram quickly too. I always do.
Oh, go ahead. While you're checking out Instagram, my thing's doing that stop motion again. I wonder if I should.
Really?
Maybe I'll go out and come right back.
Yeah, go out and I'll bring you right back in.
Okay.
And Michelle said she suffered with anxiety, PTSD episodes herself over on TikTok. I'm sorry to hear that. So we'll wait till we hear the ding when David comes back on. Oh, okay. Just a really beautiful message. It'll click in a week, and something about Brian. Christian says, well, if you got any more info, because we're going to be talking about weird, strange things that have been going on in the last week, including what the heck was going on with the Vatican on Christmas Eve with the Pope. I seriously thought that was a rumor. I am a retired Catholic, I'll say. I was raised that way. And it blew my mind because when I found out it was real, because it was streaming live Christmas Eve, I went, what? And never mind, not only the orbs, the drones. There's Dave. I'll pop them right back in. Dave, I was just mentioning while you were off, is it working better now? It looks like it is. Okay, so I mentioned about what the heck is going on at the Vatican. Never mind the orbs and the drones, you guys. It's not just the US. It is all over the world. Mm-hmm. Oh, so Connie wants to know what happened at the Vatican, and Heidi is saying, yes, what was that? Also thought that was faker news. I did too.
It's not.
Okay, so everybody's vested in here. Kassoon's hurriedly going to make coffee. We'll wait till you come back.
I'll tell you, this is from when I know what you mean, because when I heard something about it, then me and Lorilei had a little quick discussion this afternoon because I didn't look into it fully. And I do understand what you mean because, listen, there's a lot of stuff that's fabricated, but for the most part, yeah, they did something really weird. They really did.
Okay, so Christian says something interesting. He says, yeah, I know that was weird that the comments were bad. I'm not sure about that, except I'm not sure what that name is. So we'll just leave it because sometimes YouTube doesn't like some. But he says they stepped in on the stone that Da Vinci painted over the Holy Stone for the Final Supper. So how he's going, let's see. So Shannon says her electronics, so I can't get that comment off. Christian, hang on. My computer's not acting nice. Speaking of Shannon saying electronics are acting weird. Heidi Gall says, opening 5 portals. What? And yes, that is not our wording. That comes from the Vatican. Never mind looking into it. We're not going to get all religious on you guys. We're just reporting what we're seeing and we're not trying to scare anybody. We're just going to talk about what's going on and the timing of it all, right, Dave? We talked about this before.
And that's based and just what Lorilei said, you guys. Listen, I'm going to tell you this from what I know. There's literally nothing to be scared out about that stuff. But it is nonetheless very interesting and a really fun rabbit hole to go down. And I don't mind doing that. It doesn't mean we believe in all of it. It doesn't mean we disbelieve in all of it. But I do know this. I'm not worried about any of it myself.
Well, I'm going to agree with Howie, though. Project Bluebeam is in progress. Be careful of the false LORD. Yes, I don't know, Howie, but I am telling you, the energy has shifted. Because everybody's talking about that. Most of my friends are in the States about these drones and these portals. We've got some really cool, interesting video effects. I just came across another one since I talked to you earlier today, Dave. It's not the US. It is everywhere in the world. And then all of a sudden, Christmas Eve, Pope Francis performs a ritual, their words, not mine, that's never, ever been performed. Apparently, this one got me. by first starting by with some golden looking hammer, sledgehammer looking thing, opens the tomb of St. Peter, which apparently has never been opened. Yet I was doing research and they're saying it contains nothing but bone fragments. Well, how do you know if it's never been reopened? Plus, I've never been there. My adopted daughter is actually in Sardinia. I haven't adopted her. I call her that. I adore her. I should ask her. But from what I'm seeing, this tomb, I forget what the name of it is, something jail. From what I understand, the two so-called criminals that were on either side of Jesus when he was crucified are buried there. But anyways, it's right next to the telescope that is known as the Lucifer telescope. Not making that up. They have since shortened the name to Lucy. And the word portals, opening 5 portals, has actually come from the Vatican, not from us. The other thing I was mentioning, and my partner Del brought this up because we've been talking about it, digging into it. There is a prophecy that occurred back in 1917 with the Lady of Fatima prophecy, and she appeared to 3 children, and the children reported the prophecies to the church. It was decided the 3rd prophecy would never be revealed to the public, but interestingly enough, everybody seems to think they know what it is. But the first 2 did basically come clear. With that being said, we always encourage you to do your own research, but I can tell you there is some crazy stuff out there that people are writing what these prophecies are. Don't you think, Dave? Did you not find that?
I did a bunch of research while we were gone. Now, I'm going to be very clear about this one, you guys. I don't pay much attention to that stuff, and I'm not afraid of Project. I heard of Project Blue Book and I looked into it, and it just does nothing for me. But I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying I just feel something weird about it. But the 3rd secret that you were talking about, it actually, they officially released the text of the 3rd secret in 2000, except it didn't come through. But it's, like you said before, Lorilei, and I agree with you, because even though they did release the 3rd 2001, it's still up for interpretation. Because the other ones, there's a lot of different interpretations around it. Some people tried to say that was the assassination of, or the getting rid of somebody in 1981, famous. They said that that's what the secret was, and it's not, because they didn't.
That wasn't the secret. That's why I said you got to be careful.
Yeah, it doesn't, because exactly that's what I went through. And I'm like, that can't be the secret, because it wasn't until 2000. So how could you go back and just, what they wanted to do is just kind of pin it on 1981 and wash their hands of it, I think is what
and that's what you read. Now, what I read, okay, depending on what you looked at, is I think, and I say this with no disrespect in any way, the Bible was written by man, okay? Yep. And depending, well, for our people, I know you know this, for people to interpret. And you got to remember back in the time when that document, that book was written, okay, people had to be very careful with what they worded and how they put it out there. And it's open to interpretation, the same as the prophecies. But the reason I mention it is the 3rd one supposedly is supposed to come into play in 2025. So is it not? Has it been interpreted by people to be that? I don't know, but I find it very weird that we have drones. We've got all these portals or weird looking things showing up all over the world, on top of the fact that now the Pope went, and Kassoon, you're going to have to look it up. He opened it up, the portal. Let me grab my glasses. The Pope opened up the portal with some gold looking sledgehammer that they've never used before. I don't know where the heck my glasses. Well, they're there. Never used before. You can find it everywhere if you look it up. And broke open the door of St. Peter's crypt, basically, that's never been opened. So my first question is, well, how do you know there's nothing but bone fragments in there if it's never been opened? So unless somebody remote viewed in there, I don't know. But the naming, they've never performed this ceremony before, ever. This is the first time. I've got the secrets of Fatima. You know what, Dave? I sent it to you. Give me 1 second. I'll get the name of this because I looked it up.
What did you want to know?
It was in Latin. Hang on, Dave.
Oh yeah, that one. I do know this. Nothing came of the whole thing that they did yesterday.
I don't think it was supposed to as of Christmas Eve. So it's called the Apertura Sanctorum ceremony that has never been performed, because I wanted to know what that translated into English. And for those of you that didn't know, because I thought this was a rumor, I was hearing about this, I thought it was just fake news or something. So it says Pope Francis and the opening of the portals. I'll post this in our group, guys. On Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2024, Pope Francis is set to open 5 sacred portals as a part of a significant ritual that has not been performed in this manner before, ever. This event marks the beginning of a Jubilee year, a tradition that dates back to the 1300s, where holy doors are opened to symbolize a time of grace and forgiveness. What's the forgiveness for? That was the other one. Don't get me wrong.
For all the rotten things I've done, for all the wars that have been started in the name of religion.
He didn't do it for the church. He did it for the world. And I get it. People can do some nasty stuff. But to me, you're performing a ceremony that's never been performed before. Like, he didn't do it on behalf of the church, like to ask forgiveness of the people. He did it to perform it for forgiveness for the whole world, is what I'm saying. That's what I
understand. I understand that. And it's still, for me personally, like the person I am, it does nothing for me. It's like nobody asked. There is not one person that was supposed to do one thing for the entire world. So it's kind of, for me, it's a lot of sensationalism behind a lot of this. But
we're sharing it with everybody for people who are asking. So the rest of this says the opening of these portals is intended to invite the faithful into a deeper spiritual experience, emphasizing themes of hope and renewal. We could all use that, definitely. Yeah. One of the doors will be opened at this is the prison I was talking about, at the Roman prison of Rabibia. I can hardly say that, symbolizing an invitation for prisoners to look forward with hope. This ritual is particularly notable as it coincides with the upcoming 2025 Jubilee year, which is celebrated every 25 years. Well, then why not open portals every 25 years? And it says, making it a momentous occasion for the Catholic Church. The act of opening these doors is merely not a ceremonial gesture, but is imbued with spiritual significance, aiming to foster a sense of community and reflection among believers. Why should it just be for believers? It should be for everybody. I'm sorry, but it should. In summary, Pope Francis's actions on Christmas Eve are part of a long-standing tradition meant to inspire hope and renewal within the church and his followers. I call BS on that. This has never been done before, ever. So I get it, Dave. I'm not buying into it. But to me, the only reason why we started putting 2 and 2 together is, why is he doing this with something that's never been done before? Yeah. Why are we seeing these UFOs, and people are calling them orbs? And I've seen some pretty strange ones. Now, again, as always, as Dave and I say, you got to be careful with deepfakes and AI out there. Yeah. But we are seeing it. And then I didn't even think of these prophecies. It was Del that reminded me. And my partner Del is one of the biggest skeptics.
The prophecies of them, I knew what they were. When you said the 3 kids, at first I didn't get it. I'm like, oh, the 3 prophets of Fatima, the young kids that the Virgin Mary came and gave these to. When I heard what they were,
It was Lady Fatima, saint. Like it wasn't the. I'm pretty sure it was the patron saint.
I know, but that's where it was. It's Fatima, Portugal, 1917. Mm-hmm. That's when the kids were told that. In Fatima, Portugal. Yeah, I know all about that stuff, because that's the one, because this is my opinion, only my opinion. The first one was they were showing about something about hell. I believe zero. I have zero belief in hell. I have literally nothing that ever proved to me there was a hell. And I had an NDE, and almost every NDE person I've spoken to says the same thing. That's not a thing. It is a thing for here, though. It's a thing here, if that makes sense to you. So just because in the spirit realm, which is a whole other realm, it might not be there, but it is from here. But to me, hell isn't a place. It's an accumulation of all the negative aspects of man on the earth collectively. That's where I think we get the so-called demons and everything from.
You have to remember, this is kind of like the game of telephone too, Dave. None of us were there in 1917 to hear what these children said. Right.
Well, no, that's what I mean. So I mean,
I was trying to say it's a church that released these messages. So for all we know, there was no mention of hell whatsoever in these prophecies.
Exactly. And another thing too, I really, I have never heard of a deity purposely just picking out 3 children and saying, this is for you, tell everybody. They were three insignificant children with no significance to anything except for the Virgin Mary. It's just all really weird to me. But then again, I don't have any belief in religion whatsoever. I really don't. I'm sorry, guys. But anything that comes from religion, when the Bible was wrote, from what I've investigated, it's not cryptid. What it is back then, whatever was perceived, you got to remember their minds were different than ours right now. They didn't know about stuff. They still thought that the sun might not rise one day and that was their God and everything was going to be destroyed. I mean, they were very, they didn't know much about anything. So they did have to do that game of telephone, Lorilei. I agree with you 100%. I think it just kind of changed throughout the years. And then it got in that, because they added stuff to the Bible as early as, what was it, 1967? 1974? Yeah. So it's like, well, who told you that? Oh, it's the word of God. Why?
You get into the Council of Nicaea minutes and the secret scrolls that were found, and there's a lot.
There's so much. Yeah, but this is really interesting. I'm interested. I liked when we were talking. We were texting back and forth, voice texting back and forth. And the thing I liked that I found hilarious and why I was interested in it is because so many people on that side say what me and Lorilei does is false and it's wrong and it can't be done and all that, but yet you still believe the Pope can open a portal in the Vatican. Okay. That's why I found it interesting.
Well, like I said, be careful with it. The only reason we said we were going to talk a bit about, but I'm going to answer this first with Kassoon. Opening portals with what? Kassoon, all you need to do is Google Pope Francis Christmas Eve opening the portals, because we're going to post the stuff that we've got. We'll share with you guys, but please do your own research. We weren't planning on just focusing on this, and Dave and I agreed. We're not out here to create fear, but the point is opening the portals with what? You will see him, because Heidi asked if it was streamed live. It was. I seen it on TikTok, streamed live on ABC. He had this gold looking almost like sledgehammer, but he didn't really use it on the door I saw him use it on. It looked like they used some kind of sacred key and turned it and opened it. It was the tomb to St. Peter. And you know what, Dave? I think I always heard that was Lady Fatima, but you know what? I think you may be right. It was the Blessed Virgin, but it was in Fatima.
It was in Fatima. Yeah, I know who you're speaking of. You're speaking of the Russian woman who was a prophet. And sounds very, you know what I'm talking about, though?
I'm not talking about her.
Yeah, it's in Fatima, Portugal.
This was covered when I went to Catholic school and what have you. I'm just sharing with you the reason why. So anyways, I'll answer your question first, Kassoon. So if you take a look at it, you can dig into it. There's a name for this I'm calling it a gold sledgehammer that he had. This has never been done before, ever. Yet they're saying we have a Jubilee year every 25 years. Makes sense. 25 years is the Jubilee. Well, why not do the ceremony every 25 years? Why are you calling the opening of doors that have never been opened in the Vatican portals? Why? Why are we seeing UFOs? Why are we seeing all this, all these orbs? Why are we seeing this? People are mentioning Christmas didn't feel quite right. The energy was off. Everyone I talked to, nobody had the same feeling of like Christmas spirit, if you will. What about you, Dave?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And Howie had said it earlier. This year, even where I live, it was rare to see anybody's house decorated in any way. Nobody talked about it. The stores didn't have all the stuff. It was just a total different energy than normal. I do want to say there's something I looked up that was quite interesting. The third secret, if we went by what the third secret was,
you're right, Connie.
It was something about, I think the third secret they said was something about the church being how going through dark times, whatever it was. But the theme is of repentance and the nature of evil and the suffering of church. It was supposed to be the third secret coming on. Now, I will say this. If the third secret was the dismantling of the church, is basically how I'm reading it. Yes, I do see that happening.
So it's been rumored, and again, do your own research, that the Pope that we have now, I mean him no harm, I wish him well, just anybody listening, but it's been rumored he's the last one. Is he? I don't know. Like I said, when David asked me, just because of what I was referring to it, you knew what it was. It was just, I said, Our Lady of Fatima is the way it's been referred to, at least when I went to Catholic school. And Contessa, you are right. And so is Dave. It is the Virgin Mary to have appeared in the city of Fatima in Portugal, like Dave said. I was wrong. So the point is, because I've always heard of her as Lady Fatima, but
I you know what though, Lorilei, until I went and re-looked up that stuff, I said, oh, I know that. And I know the three kids. I couldn't remember the three kids' names or whatever. And I got their names here too. But I did the same thing. I was looking for Lady Fatima or Fatima. And it's not. It's the city of Fatima in Portugal.
That's how I found it. That's how I found it, looking it up. I looked up, I didn't look up Fatima, Portugal. I looked up Our Lady of Fatima.
Yeah.
So, but it is, both of you were right. It is, now that I remember the story, it was, that was the Virgin Mary that was supposed to have referred. And Howie's saying the same thing. Yes, Dave, you're correct. The fall of the church would be okay, so he said about the third prophecy, the fall of the church would be the visual of the beginning. I've always heard, okay, and I could be wrong, that it's never been revealed to the public. Now, whether people think it's been revealed, you got to remember, we got some pretty powerful remote viewers out there. I don't know. Did they release it? Did they not? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I've tried. It's really difficult.
Because you didn't know it by the name of Our Lady Fatima. You knew what it was. I said, let me get some stuff for you. I quickly whipped through about 10 pages, and not one page matched the other. Isn't
that weird? I know. It's all different. It really is all different. And that's... that could be caught. We could really go down that rabbit hole too, just because things are always changing. Hi, Richard. Things are always changing, and I think even like the writings in technology aren't catching up either. I guess is the best way you should put it.
Okay.
But, the kids' names. It was Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta. Jacinta. I didn't want to butcher the name. Yeah.
So Kevin says too, look up Pope opening portals, maybe Kissoon. And Kissoon says, these days I play too many video games. I don't read much. Nobody's saying about you reading, dude. Nobody's saying about reading. There are so many videos out there. You can watch this. If I can find it, I should be able to. Or Dave will, one of us will post it in our group. That's what the group's there for, to post links after the show. We didn't do this to go down a rabbit. Well, we did say we were going to go down a rabbit.
Yeah, we're going to have fun with it. Yeah.
We thought, you know, just to get people to look at things, because there's science all around us. And we're not saying something bad's going to happen, but I keep feeling like something's about to shift. It has to. I think it will.
It started. I mean, did you notice, Lorilei? Isn't it weird how everything is going on at once? So UFOs, church stuff.
That's why I brought it. We talk about this stuff in my house all the time.
Everything's swirling around in a ball right now. And I'm telling you guys, everybody listening on that, I have just stepped back and I got some popcorn and I am here for the show. I tell you that. I know that I came here to watch this show.
We eat, breathe, and live this stuff at my house because my partner Dell researches different stuff than I do. But I am telling you, like, he's the one that brought up about these prophecies. I didn't even think about it. And I thought, holy cow, because to me, there is something completely not right with the church doing this ritual that has never, ever been done before. Howie, I don't know if you want us to join you Sunday night. Are you free Sunday night, Dave? You free Sunday night? I think that's the 29th. Howie wants us to join him. I'll be free, Howie, if you need me.
I might be able to. I got to see. I might be able to. I can't remember. There's something I got to do, and it's probably either really early Monday morning, so I'll figure it out.
Dave, you usually do. You're almost always there when you're there.
Yeah.
So Howie, count me in. That's 7:00 Eastern Standard Time on Riff Nation Network on the Orion Effect. So I'll be there, Howie, and I can't speak for Dave, but I know Dave well. If he can be there, he will be. So I got to write that down. Remind me, Dave.
I will say this. There is. I'm sorry. I looked up. I have like one of those big giant chat GPTs that I paid for like the entire year. So it's really interesting, but I've been going through, looking up a lot of information. The problem with chat GP, you guys, if you do go on chat GP, remember most chat GPs, not all, but most of them, the last time that they were given their instructions was 2023. So if you would ask chat GP about what's happening now, it won't know. Okay, you got to go to one that's really, it's going to give you weird stuff. Although I was reading this stuff, a lot of that Fatima stuff, Lorilei, they said, like the third prophecy of the prophecies had to do with something, the nature of evil for the church and how the church can overcome that and come back together. Now, I'm not a religious guy and I don't know everything about religion. So please, this is literally, I'm telling you, my opinion. And just from what I'm reading when I look something up. So I don't know everything, but I do know that there was the last prophecy. There was supposed to be a hope of redemption, which means they were hopefully going to get some of the religious people back on track and off this, like, I for lack of a better word, hate mongering or fear mongering, I guess. Is that a good way to put it, Lorilei? I don't know.
Let me get past this here. Howie, it's cool because we're having a merger. We're on UPRN and you're on the Riff Nation Network. So you're more than welcome to look up the Riff Nation Network, because I said I'll be there. And I know Dave. If Dave can be there, Dave will be there. And Rhonda just said now she's even more excited for Sunday. So, okay. So the reason why we talked about it is because there's something going on. And I think it's all about perception. And I think it's about how you feel and how you take it. Because let's take the numbers 1111, and Spirit is giving me this right now. You know, I've always taken it as a positive sign, something incredible. We could take the number 666, right? And and it's got a lot of negative connotation behind it. So with everything being energy and frequency, right? But you can also look at it from a positive perspective. And numerology is where I'm going with this. It's kind of like with the church. Now, my thoughts have been, and I'm not knocking anybody that has religion, you know what? Whatever road takes you back to where you need to be, to a place of love and in service to others, right? And basically just being a good person or doing your best to be one. Okay, so if you need church, that's great. I love it for you. But for me, I was always taught that God is our Father. We are all a part of each other. And to me, I've never had to go to a special building to go speak to my Father. The other part is God is everywhere for me. And other people may not believe in God. You may call it something else, and that's fine. Source, if you will, is everywhere. Yeah. So I never judge people for what they do. But I just feel the reason why I didn't connect, and I never have with that message, is it's very fear-based. Okay? I don't believe that our Father that created each and every one of us hates us. And if we don't do exactly what's happening, we're going to burn in hell. We're going to do all this. No, somebody else may believe that. And you're entitled to that. You're okay with that. But to me, when the church is advertising this thing going on and letting people stream it live and news agencies and stuff, that's a message to me. And you can take that message any way you want. But there's a lot of weird stuff going on around this world right now.
Yeah, there sure is. I was looking up like 666, actually, when a lot of us look at that, just because, like Lorilei said, there's like a negative connotation put on it. Okay. But literally it's usually associated with releasing fear and negativity. As an angel number, that's what it would mean. And 13 is transformation and change. So it all depends on where you lay in the spectrum.
It's all on perspective.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. It's just going to say it's where you lean as far as how you see something. One perspective, you're going to always see the negative side of something. Somebody else's perspective could always be seeing the positive. Mm-hmm. Okay. So.
Yeah. And so Kassoon says, hang on, everybody's commenting. We love this. But Kassoon says, we are the apertures that the universe looks at itself. If you believe that, that's perfectly fine. Like, everybody's entitled to their opinion. The main thing in the topic we are talking about tonight is to get people, like, we're just two people. We've told you we're coming up to our second anniversary. Actually, our next show is our second anniversary in the new year. And we told you guys always, we are not experts. We're going to share with you with what we know and what we receive from Spirit and what we've been through experientially wise, if you will, education wise, but we don't know everything. And we're not always right. Neither is everybody else. But you got to take what's out there, take a look at it, do your own research, feel what resonates and what doesn't, leave the rest. And think for yourself. We have all got brains. Start looking out there, taking a look at things. And Richard Minnick just said it. I think this is beautiful. There are no such things as bad numbers to him.
Exactly. Me either. Me
Numbers are
neither.
bad.
There are no numbers. Yeah, there are no. It's actually. I've studied a lot of some of the more religious connotations of things, and really, it's really all how to see it. The absolute truth of everything is there really doesn't need to be a negative side, but there does need to be a negative side here during this existence because we have a polarized existence. Somebody once said, if you look up in the night sky, you see the stars, right? Well, guess what? You can't see those stars without the dark sky. So you can't see the light without the dark. You have to have it.
Well, and they always, you know what? My partner Dell said to me years ago when we were friends, I'm going to read Shannon's message and I'll explain it in a second. And I was just starting to do angel cards and, really going down this road. And it was many years ago. And I remember I said, the only reason I want to do angel cards or oracle cards is because there's no negativity. There's nothing dark. I want nothing to do with the dark. Boy, did I eat those words going forward, but with the fact what we went through in that home. And I'll never forget what he said to me. And he said, Laura, if you're going to be doing this kind of work and going to be working in this arena, you need to know both in order to know the difference. And he was right. Yeah. Right? Otherwise, exactly. How are you going to know? So Shannon says, Laura, you were talking about 1111 and 666, and I heard Lois T. Martin get so excited from the other side. You guys may not know who she is. She used to have a podcast weekly. She's a very good friend of mine. She used to call herself my adopted mother, and I miss her so much. Her show was called I've Got Your Number. And she was out in New York, and she was an amazing, amazing numerologist. She was on the Angel Rock once, but she not only looked at numbers, she looked at your name and the letters that were in the name. And psychically and intuitively, she would pick up how that pertained to the numerology, astrology, and who you were energetically. She was a really powerful, incredible lady. And Shannon met her. I think you met her because I advertised. She also used to do a series called Inside the Mind of a Psychic, and she'd get a panel, and I was on a couple of them, and people in the audience would be able to call in and ask any questions they'd ever wanted to know or ask somebody that did psychic mediumship. It was pretty cool. So I love that.
Contessa says, my father always said this to us growing up. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't.
Yes. He's right. He's right. Now, again, all right. Now, you can call it what you want. You can call it what you want. But to me, if everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, not everybody is running around thinking love and light. That has to go somewhere. Not everybody is acting in love and light. Not everybody has experienced love and light. Energy can't be created, but it can be transferred from one place to another. Okay. Then you get into tulpas and things like that, right? Yeah. Energy can develop collectively. We have other dimensions.
Well, everything is developed collectively. Like and the only reason I was not convinced of this until I had my NDE, that there is no such thing as Satan. There is no such thing as a devil.
But I also know from studying NDEs for 40 plus years, it doesn't happen often. But there have been people who have had true NDEs where they come back and explain it as a hell existence.
Oh no, there's plenty of people who leave here and they experience.
I'm not saying it exists either, Dave.
Oh no, they do. They leave here.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
They do. There are many people, even people I've talked to, that's the first thing they saw was the HE double hockey sticks. But it was literally only for a moment, because the moment they were there, they would be like, this isn't right. And they immediately moved on. Just because of people's story. It's almost, for I to describe in the spirit where I was, and I wasn't even all the way over, you guys. I still had my cord attached. So I was dead, but I wasn't clinically over there. I had everything, but everything, I was going to say, your perception when you leave here, because I don't believe in heaven or hell. So a lot of people, but I do believe the spiritual realm is just what I call it. And it's just mincing words. It's just mincing words, but
it's semantics.
It is.
Because if you break everything down to vibration, energy, and frequency, right?
Yeah,
and it's all about perception and experience. And what was I going to say? I wanted to say hi to first time viewer. We got Desiree Colette. Welcome. We're glad you joined us. Got I wanted to say I had Michael Angley up here. Michael, where did you go? Michael Angley's part of our network and he's popping in. He's awesome. So Mike, I'm looking for your comment here. It's disappearing on me. Oh, there you are. He says, howdy, howdy. Now we're getting into topics here that may be a little touchy for people. Yeah. And again,
it's okay. These are just our opinions and our observations.
Mm-hmm. So, and you guys are entitled to yours, but the reason why we said we were going to go down this rabbit hole is because there's some weird stuff going on around the world right now. And
I like Contessa Martin says, if there is good, then there is evil to balance. Yeah, it's true. You have to have one or the other, but only here. That's what I think a lot of people don't understand. Outside of this realm, it does not exist.
I can't say there's not demons. Now, I don't know if it was a demon or what it was, but I can tell you like it happened 5 minutes ago, not 17 years ago or so. And it told me its name. It told me how to spell it. It told me its animal form, and everything that thing told me in that dream happened immediately after. But then I've been on a podcast, not on this network. It was with a panel of 9 people, and one was a really big Bigfooter. And oh my God, that guy came for me. I never met him in my life. He told me there's no way I could have experienced this. I told you about the other guy that told me I'm suffering from intergalactic satellite goldfish long before I was on this network. It takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. And to me, I always say, just because I haven't seen it and I haven't experienced it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I can say it. I really do. I mean, that's my opinion, and I will stick to it. Outside of the physical experience, the devil does not exist. But it does exist here. It has to. It has to.
How do you know it's not something coming from another dimension? We've talked about that. There's many different dimensions.
I know, but we can't. But every time, but in spirituality, when we make every dimension a scapegoat for a reason for something, then it starts to lose all credibility. I'm just saying I'm not saying you're saying it, but I've heard a lot of people, they'll give a reading and then go, well, the reading didn't come true because you switched timelines. Okay, that's true, but if you read from where they would have probably stayed in that timeline. I just don't believe in that outside of here. I never saw it. I have nothing to show me there is. I do, however, agree that Lorilei did experience something. And like she said earlier, it's what we're going to call it. That's the name that we've given those entities.
I'm still not 100% convinced.
But it was negative.
That dream.
But it was a negative. There's a negative.
It was a man. It was a man in my tree. I told you that. I can tell you what he was wearing, what he looked like. His eyes went completely black, and then we're switching between black and flame. Now, the thing is, did my subconscious create that? Because that's what I would have expected subconsciously from what I've learned about demons up to that point many years ago, that's why I saw what I saw. I don't know, but I can tell you, everything that thing told me in that dream, I found it 5-6 years later. I could not find it at the time. And again, being raised in a Catholic school, I'd never heard this name before, ever. I didn't know anything about it. He told me what it was. He spelt it for me, and he told me the animal form. And then 5 years later, I fell off my chair when I saw it. I was helping somebody else with some paranormal things. And I could not believe word for word what he told me in the dream. So how did that happen?
As I said, that's because the best way for me to explain something to anybody from what I go by is there is nothing outside yourself. There is literally nothing outside yourself. The world outside you does not exist. The world outside you is existing within yourself, because the universe is mental by nature. Number one universal law that there is. The universe is mental, meaning anything we think about, like Tulpa's, what Lorilei was saying and all that, anything we think about does come into existence in some way, shape, or form. So it's just, and sometimes maybe like, I don't know if this is true, but if we need something to happen to us, like a lesson or something we need to learn, we have no clue how it's going to manifest to us. It's going to do something in order to get our attention. And like I had said to Lorilei, not knowing if this is true, Lorilei had a very real experience. That is a very real experience. And actually, I would say in the semantics of things, I also would refer to that thing as a demon, because when I say the word demon, I'm thinking of something that's of a low vibrational energy, that's probably kind of mean, and it's probably coming from a collective of something. So I do believe in it. And
you can throw somebody that's a full-grown man at 6 feet tall, 175 pounds, 15 feet across the kitchen. There's so much of a skeptic I live with didn't tell me about it. It happened in the middle of the night for him way back in the day at our house. And I only noticed because his arm was all cut up. And he thought he went and got his voltage meter to check the fridge to make sure he hadn't been shocked or something, because he thought that must have been what it was. And then I've got pictures, me combing I took pictures. I took pictures. I took whatever, because I knew nobody was ever going to believe me about this kind of stuff. Other people have experienced stuff besides my family and I. And we've talked about this, Dave, on air and off here. I think I probably had this experience because I would not be doing what I'm doing today had I not had the experience.
That's what I said. Everything, even though it's evil, has a purpose to it, and it's to do something. Usually it's to accelerate us in some way, even though it sounds bad. Because even like when Lorilei, like she just said, had she not had this experience with these entities or whatever happened, she might not be doing this. So we can look back at that stuff and say, do you know what? This is cool. I get it.
I wasn't looking
I don't want
for
it
it.
happening.
Okay, now Spirit's giving me this, if you will, but there's many people that have had very similar experiences, not like mine, but with, we'll call it creatures, if you will. That have either been given a name or have had some extreme experiences, or the same creature shows up. The Hat Man, Shadow Man.
Yeah.
With the hat, we had one. Why does that happen? Now, we can say in this day and age with the internet and with paranormal shows, it's going to plant the seed. But back in the day, long before that ever happened, I have a really good friend, Heidi Hollis. She's actually trademarked, I think it's Hatman. And she helps people with that. She's on Coast to Coast AM now. And the thing is, the internet wasn't around when she experienced what she did and started helping people. But why would other people be having, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat too, why would other people globally around the world have similar experiences with similar entities and positive experiences too?
Yeah.
Let's read Nicole's comment. You want to read that, Dave? Because I think it's a good point.
Nicole says, we name things to give them sense or purpose. We create our own reality. And that is absolutely true. Because like what I try to say, I guess some people might not understand. Everything, we're not actually here right now. So that's the whole thing, is why I always argue about stuff. We're having a dream right now. I can tell you, my near-death experience, that felt real. When I even think about it, it's real. It's more real than here. This is the dream. Since we're in this dream, we can have all kinds of stuff. We can have Bigfoots and Loch Ness monsters and demons and paranormal things and ghosts. We can have all those things because they're within the scope of consciousness, and it's mental.
Well, you know what? I like to think of Earth as a school. And I think it is our school. Because as I understand it, from what I receive from Spirit, is there's a lineup of souls to come here. Because let's face it, if you believe that we have multiple lives, that we never really do die, our consciousness goes on forever, or soul, whatever you want to call it, right? We're not always going to come back to Earth School. But to come here, right? Think about it. You're born, you come into with spiritual amnesia. Pretty well, most of us, not all of us, but most of us, you come in these dense, heavy, fragile bodies, right? And even when you connect with other off-worlders, if you will, and I've heard this echoed countless of times, I've received it myself, is, we're a young race. They know we're a young race as human beings. They know that we're evolving and we're growing. And the thing is, so that and I keep hearing this from spirit, and I've heard it from many other people that channel or connect, that what really confounds them about human beings, though, is our propensity for violence and what we do to others, instead of recognizing that there really is no separateness. There is no Sri Lanka versus Canada versus the US versus Australia. We really are
It's an illusion. Yep.
Our breadth and depth of emotion as well. Older races, if you will, have a lot more, what do I want to call it, emotional regulation. They don't use words to communicate. In many of these places, they use telepathy. I just saw a video, I wish I could remember what it was called, and it was talking about the Arcturians, and they were calling, and now this, don't quote me on it, I'm just telling you the story I was hearing in the video. They were claiming to be tall whites, but they look very humanoid. And they were saying that most of the off-worlders around the world that are older races know how incredibly powerful we are as human beings. And I believe that. I believe that's part of why I'm here with the work that I do. And I don't want to make that sound egotistical, because I'm not going to reach everybody in the world, but whoever I work with. But they fear the day the human beings remember telepathy and telekinesis and all these things, including intuitiveness, psychic ability, you name it. We have all these abilities. Most of us don't know we have them or remember how to do it.
Yeah. Well, we came here with the intention of forgetting anyway, but for the reason, for me, life is in a sense a school, but people always ask me, because one of the number one questions I get as a medium all the time is, why do we come here? What's our purpose? And literally,
I'm going to read that question.
What I've been told is life literally has zero meaning to it. There is zero meaning to physical life. We are the ones who put the meaning on it through everything we think about, through all our perspectives. And like Lorilei was saying earlier too, and she's absolutely correct. Everybody here has every ability there is. You are so cool outside of here. You can do all these things, but we come here and we forget. There are a few people who remember stuff. The one thing that I came in here remembering, I knew since I was 4, was what I say earlier. I knew at age 4 when churches used to talk about stuff.
Yes, remember that, Dave?
Yeah, there was no HELL. So, but angels and all that, I've seen them all my life. So that I know exists for sure. I do have seen negative things too. I really have. I just don't label them that for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't. But it's hard for me to play in that playground. It's kind of like I'm not invited into that playground, so I can't play there. Does that make sense?
I don't think you need to be invited. You can have a curiosity about it.
That's what I mean.
I think I have built that experience in as a potentiality that when I incarnated in this lifetime, there were some agreements I maybe made, because I planned on being a doctor. I didn't plan on doing any of this work. I love what I'm doing, but maybe I knew, being the person I was born to be and who I was going to be, that it was going to take something pretty big to change my mind about things, because I am stubborn. I'm much more open-minded as I get older. Yeah. But what I'm saying is maybe I built that in, but I don't think anybody invites it necessarily in. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes people have a curiosity. There's many different reasons, but
anything can give you the catalyst for it to get there. But if you don't have the catalyst, you're never going to see it. But I do believe, though, at some point, everybody gets that little nudge, like you said. I do believe it sometimes.
I'm reading. We got so many comments here, you guys. Hey, we're going to go back a little bit because I lost them. Hang on. I don't know if that did on your side, Dave. Hang on. Let's go back a bit here. Okay. So let's see. Kassoon says, absolutely, we're dreaming the whole thing up. And you're entitled to that belief. If that's what you believe it is. I believe, and instead, my belief is we are here for a reason. We have chosen to come here to incarnate in every lifetime we have, that we are powerful manifestors, creators. I agree that we do create anything that exists on this planet. Somebody has eventually created. Don't get me wrong, anything by nature that's here However this planet came to be, it came as part of the package when it was created. But anything other that's man-made, if you will, what have you, yeah, somebody's created it. Somebody thought it up, right? So that's my thoughts, but I think we're here for a reason. And what we don't realize, because
but it's your personal reason. I know, I agree with you. We are here for a reason.
What I was going to say, we've never been taught to understand how powerful we are, and we can create the life we want to live. I'm still working on it, but we can do that. But it's changing your mindset and unwinding, what do I want to call it? Hypnosis, whatever you want to call it, that we've gone through in life to make us believe that we have no power. We have no power over self, over our life, over what happens to us. And sometimes we don't, but we can change our lives, right? All you got to do is make the start.
Yeah. In fact, you can change your exit point. Once you figure out how, you can change your exit point. I mean, your soul knows the exact moment, but in communication, exit points, from what I've found out more and more and more and more, is like for exit points, they can be deferred by a couple of years, or they can be a couple of years early. So you do have leeway, but it's your soul who ultimately decides when you leave here.
I know, but you have free will here. That's just kind of the exit point that you may have decided on, but some people have numerous exit points that are kind of set into their life, and they can make the choice. But nope, I don't want to do it. I can tell you, because I'm going to comment on this. Shannon says, how many nurses and doctors have talked about the angel of death being seen in hospitals and such? Yes, I've seen many a video. Never mind what we experience at the bedside. It's incredible. My very good neighbor friend of mine just passed a week before Christmas and chose to pass at home. And their family, somebody reminded them to open the window. Now that's a belief that the people that were there at that moment, I went a little bit after to say goodbye to her and see her, and but they felt it was important to open a window. Otherwise the soul can't leave, for example. Who's there? I can tell you who's there at the bedside. And most people think, so can Shannon, I'm sure, that loved ones are there, and they think maybe their family member is hallucinating or seeing things. But I can tell you there's many a soul that's been sick and is terminally ill and will tell you exactly who they see there. And they're not imagining it, I believe, 100% with who they see. But we have seen the angel of death. Yes, absolutely. Most of us have. I'm actually writing 3 books. I'm really going to do my best to write the 3 and hopefully get them really out there in the next year and a half. The 3rd one is collecting stories, mainly from nurses, but also first responders who are there at that moment as soul transitions from this earthly realm to go back home, as I call it. Because I can tell you, we see some incredible, unexplainable things that happen that you wouldn't ever believe is possible. So Kevin says, yes, Lorilei, I've seen creatures come through as well, through a portal in my living room, lifted a glass mug, smashed it, and scratched my table out of the blue. I pushed it back in, said portal with light. I am telling you, if there are people that experience this. Now, do we create it? I don't know. I know most people that don't work in this field that go through this don't look for that experience. So I don't know why it happens to some and not others. I can't answer that.
I guess maybe we just set it up that way. It's kind of like if people agree that all NDEs are literally a reset. Remember this, every NDE, everybody says there's a choice. And yeah, I agree there's a choice, but every NDE person came back here, which means we never did die, ever.
No,
so, yeah.
Okay, so Heidi says, telepathy is something I'm drawn to and connected to the Arcturians. So I've talked about Beverly Rhodes on here. I'm hoping to post this in our group. She has a series on the Sean Atwood channel on YouTube. She's from Britain. She's an incredible remote viewer. All the alphabet organizations around the world have used her. She's not a braggart about it. It was Sean Atwood who originally introduced her and talked about what she's doing. I've watched her live with Sean and his co-host, Ron, watched her send them energy to see what it feels like. And she explained it first. And she literally was able to tell Sean live that there was something going on with the energy of his foot. And 5 seconds later said, you got your foot wrapped up underneath you. You're sitting on your foot. She also talked about Ron. Ron just had a new baby, Christmas Eve. And so his fiance, of course, when you're pregnant, right? Cravings. And I've watched Sean Atwood for many years, and Ron. Beverly was teasing Ron and said, yeah, well, with your permission, I've remote viewed you. I seen you laying on the couch with one leg up on the couch and what you were eating and what have you. I have never, ever in all the years I've watched Ron see him do this. He turned so red. I swear to God, I thought literally somebody had put red food dye on him. That's how embarrassed he was. And she didn't do it to embarrass him. It was just the fact that it was a physical reaction to the fact that Beverly actually really did see what he had been doing. Anyways, they just posted on December 22nd with another lady by the name of Marilyn Devonish. And the reason I share this, maybe you're not feeling very Christmassy. Maybe you don't celebrate. Maybe you're having a hard time. They did an energy healing session last Sunday that is so powerful, including a healing technique I had never heard of called Huna. So I'm going to share that in our group. The reason why I bring this up, though, like I say, we haven't seen everything. We haven't experienced everything. And some of the stuff I have seen even in the last couple of weeks, I've been with different people, different shows, talking to different people. There's a lot of different people on this planet that can do a lot of different things that we may or may not believe in. So, telepathy. I was going to say, go ahead, Dave, and then I'll mention telepathy.
No, that's always thing. I was just reading comments here and there.
Well, I was just going to say with telepathy, okay, I think I've talked about this. I believe in it. I've used it. You got to practice with it. My friend Augie Noss talks about this. When you're standing in line the next time, or you're on queue, depending on where you are, or in queue, however you say that, the person in front of you, stare back at, it's basically the nape of their neck where it joins almost their neck to their shoulders, and just keep thinking as you focus, turn around, turn around, turn around. Now, it's probably not going to happen the first or second time you do it, but practice it. And I guarantee you, without fail, and you start doing it when you're waiting and you're bored, the person in front of you is going to start turning around looking like, did you just talk to me? Did you just call my name? Because I believe human beings can do that. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Telepathy is how you communicate outside of the physical realm.
So Connie said, my brother was technically dead for 15 minutes. He had a heart attack. His body was coma-induced for close to 6 weeks. And when he woke up, he said he was in a place where many people were talking, I think she's saying, or taking care of him. They gave him healing water until he woke up. Oh, that's beautiful, Connie. Thank you for sharing.
I like that. I love those kind of NDE stories. They're just beautiful.
Okay, so I'm going to read Julie's comment. I'm just looking for the one above it. Desiree, you're talking about my NDE, which I believe was Jesus' hand came down from heaven, asked me, do I want to stay or go? Saw a clip of my own funeral, time stood still. Yeah, and that's what I've said. And again, I'm not an expert on NDEs, but I really have studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years. And I can tell you, nobody's experience is identical. I have had a couple of people on the Angel Rock who have said it's an NDE, but their heart or their breathing never stopped. But they had that type of experience.
Oh, you can have you don't need to have your heart stop and everything in order to have the NDE.
It's called a near-death experience, though. Exactly. So it's a near-death because death means your heart stops and your breathing stops, right? Same as Heidi Hollis, I was going to mention. She's never had an NDE, but she can tell. I remember, I wish to God I had copies of my shows on my old network. I used to do the Angel Rock Monday through Friday. First week I was there, I met Heidi and I had her on, and I was mentoring someone we know from the Voldemort group that we've talked about off here before. I can tell you that Heidi and this person I was mentoring, they were finishing each other's sentences of things that they had experienced while they claimed to have seen it in heaven. These two had never met each other. Never. I literally was blown away, and it takes a lot to blow me away. I wish I had a copy.
I find in the NDE experiences, actually, I mean, no two NDE is exactly the same, but they all share commonalities throughout the world, and that's why people are studying them. Every NDE has one. I did do a couple times because I belonged to an NDE group, and there was this gentleman in there who, when he talked about his NDE, it was horrific. It was hell. It was demons pitchforking him, and everybody was supposed to repent and all this. He would write in the stuff. Well, he doesn't realize that there's people like me that had them. You have to say, what was happening to you before this quote unquote NDE happened? Because of the fact that particular person belonged to the church. And you know what he did for a living? He did exorcisms. So of course his NDE is going to have
I have read of an NDE experience of a guy that was a cadet in the military, had a hell experience. He wasn't religious before. They were staying over at the base. I'm not saying
you don't have to be religious to have a hell one.
He said I was not religious before. He didn't feel he was living a godly enough life. His words, not mine, watching this podcast. And he had this kind of experience. I am telling you from what I've seen, it happens. It can happen. I think it's less than 10%, but I've heard and seen from people that work in the field, it can happen to 10% of experiencers. I don't know if it's true or not, but not all of them are religious-based or fear-based religion. Some people don't even have anything to do with a church or anything like that. To me, they had the experience for a reason, that maybe they had the choice to take what they experienced and they had the choice to do something different with their life or what they were going to do with their life, but they have had these experiences.
Did you ever wonder, did you ever look up to see what they're doing now? Like, did their
Yeah,
life change?
the one soldier is now a preacher. He never was before, but he is now.
See, that's where the hell NDEs, I really get so skeptical, and I don't want to be, because NDEs are personal, but there are certain laws. Why would you have a
who made these laws though?
I know, but I'm just saying, this is my logic. I'm thinking critically, not spiritually, and trying to make anything fit. But if you have an NDE where you see hell, and then it moved you so much that you became literally what invented what you just saw, there's something wrong there.
I don't think there's something wrong there.
Oh,
it wouldn't be my choice to do what he did with his experience. But he had that experience, and that's not unique. That most people have a very beautiful experience with an NDE. None of them are the same. So when someone tells me you didn't have an NDE, I've heard people say because you didn't go through the tunnel of the light, or you didn't. Nobody.
Oh, no, yeah, that's not what I was saying.
Yeah, but just let me finish. I'm not saying you. I'm saying there are other people that will say things like this, and to me, I believe we got to take people at their word. Okay, because if they're lying, you are going to find out they're lying. Okay.
I know, but I know we do have to take people at their word, but also we have to disassemble some of these things people are saying, because I mean, we've already
this experience was not mine to disassemble.
Oh, I know it's not yours. I'm just saying, and I'm not doubting the guy had an experience in hell. I'm really not. Because I know I still, to this day, I will swear up and down on everything. No such place outside of this world. No such place. And people will go, well, but you should be able to see it no matter what, because this dimension, that dimension. We can't make everything fit. There are universal laws that are put in place that govern all spiritual.
But who made the universal laws?
God, or the source.
But how do we know that?
We all know. How would it not be? If somebody didn't make a law, how could they exist?
That's a human thing, I think, laws.
No, it's not. We just call it law.
Okay.
One of the first laws is everything changes, but change never happens. Another law is there's no such thing as future and past. There can't be. Everything is in the same moment. We only think of things linearly, but everything is right now. the eyes I'm looking through now are the same eyes I was looking through as an infant. I can only bring back that infant if I put it in a memory in my head. Otherwise, what I did prior to this literally no longer exists. It's written in a book someplace from what we call the Akashic Records and everything, but it no
I
longer
do the
exists.
Akashic Records. I don't know. You're entitled. We could talk about this all night. Let's get into it.
It's just fun to talk. It's a rabbit hole to go back, and everybody can think of whatever they do. I'm just saying, when it comes to these things, if people ask me, why are you so skeptical? It's not just skepticism. It's because I walk the walk and talk the talk. I know, even from a child, no such thing. But that I'm not saying that there's no such thing here, because we are creating this. You can literally create whatever you want. But I used to, when I used to do ghost investigations, I used to try to make everything fit. I had an excuse for everything. And then I thought about it over and over. And I said one day, what if not everything is the truth? What if there is a lie? What if there is absolute truth? If there's absolute truth, that would mean that anything we saw was just a perception and nothing more. Because it's absolutely true that I have water here. And not just because we can touch it and feel it and see it, but because water just exists. So it's just weird how we put all that stuff. I just always have to jump back. I've seen too much destruction in this world. Religion has messed up so much in this world because people fell into a false belief. And we always go, but it's their perspective. Yeah, and the perspective is wrong. They're looking at it from a
It's wrong in your eyes.
No, it's wrong in theirs. It's wrong.
Okay, let's change the subject because we're going to.
No, this is important. We can't change the subject. It is wrong.
I don't agree with you.
You don't have to agree with me. It's wrong because they feel bad. If there is any feeling outside of joy or love, then it's not a truth. That's how it was given to me. So outside of joy and love, if it doesn't contain joy and it doesn't contain love, it's a false truth.
To me, whatever road or vehicle you take to bring you back home, to bring you to love, to bring you to do good things, to be able to be in service to others. But people have choice to be in service to themselves too. So it's not up to and again, I'm not saying I don't agree with it. To me, I think we all have free will and we have free will for a reason. So anybody in your eyes, it's wrong, right? But other people may need it. That's why we're here. We're here to have experiences, I think.
It is, and it's true. But what if a group of people walked up to us and said, you know what, there's no such thing as air? You'd be like, what? What do you mean there's no such thing?
Maybe in their mind there is no, it's not my
job. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. We can't sit here and cherry coat and try to bend just to make it fit. No, there is air here.
I don't care. It doesn't affect me. If people believe there is no air, that's okay.
It's just metaphoric. I'm just saying.
I know it's metaphoric. It's not my job. It's not my job to be convinced whether people believe there's air. And I know you're being metaphoric. If people want to believe that, that's okay. Go ahead, believe it. Go ahead. I'm not living your life. I'm not walking in your shoes.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying, I can't, whenever I discuss the paranormal stuff, I can't discuss it and make everything fit. Some stuff just never fits. It's not going to fit. If it did, I'd give perfect readings to everybody, but it doesn't. That's what I mean. That's all I'm trying to say. Not everything's going to fit.
Let's talk about this because Desiree, I think it's cool because guess what? I believe this works. And Michelle was talking about it at first. I always call her Michelle because it is Michelle, but she's got Mish. And you guys, I wasn't upset while we were talking.
Oh, yeah, we're not upset.
No. Because soon put, we call her Lori. And I said, it's Lore. Actually, I don't care what you call me.
You guys, we argue like we're not arguing, but we like to present these views so you guys can determine what you and know that it's okay to.
And you can completely disagree with what both of us have said. It's okay. But let's talk about parking angels.
Yes, okay? And I believe in parking angels. I don't call them that, but I do believe in that.
I'm going to tell you, and I agree with David. I do try to walk the walk of the talk that I do. I'm not perfect at it, but I try. So when I get in my car's very old. I'm looking to manifest a new vehicle. But I love, my son named him. We bought him secondhand. His name is Harry. So I tell Harry, we're going to be good today, right? I love you. You're working perfectly. And then I literally say this in my head. Of course, some people think I was crazy. I was talking out loud. I just say, angels, can you please watch over my vehicle and all the vehicles around me? And I ask for thousands of angels. If they're free and would like to come along for the ride, I'd love to have them. Same as with the parking spot. I do have you can call it a parking angel. Dave says the same thing, but I ask before I go. And when it doesn't happen, that there's not a parking spot on the off chance it may not, I just accept the fact that I'm not meant to park as close as I would like to park, because had I, maybe something else might have occurred. So there's a reason why I didn't get the parking spot.
Yeah, I believe in that too. I do believe, however you want to call it, you can, because angels do all kinds of stuff. There's an angel for politics, an angel for lawyers, an angel, there is for everything. I do the same thing. Literally, when I get in my car every time, and I've been doing this since member Box. Yes. Box from the Baltimore group. Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to Box one day, and this was after when I got in the moped accident and I flew over and went into the middle of the thing. Vox and I were talking about something, and he was telling me this little prayer he used to do, and I adjusted it. I've been doing this prayer forever, and it's angels around me, angels surround me, as to keep me safe from accident or incident. And I ask for a good day for me, for everybody else, and I wish that I do that every time I get in my car. And I also have done the whole, I'm going to, I know when I pull into Walmart, there's a perfect parking spot. I'm asking and I'm knowing it is a perfect, and it happens. Mm-hmm. It does. It's very magical. I think it's very cool.
Well, I like what Connie said. She said, and I say this all the time too, Connie, I guess we won't know for sure until we cross over. When I say it all the time, none of us are going to know all the answers.
Yeah, we do not know.
Spoil the game while we're here, or school.
Yeah, exactly. We can't get, if they gave us the notes to the test, it wouldn't be worth taking the test.
But I wanted to add this, because Mish said, damn, life is a guessing game. But is it really? We're all intuitive. We all have free will. I think it's, again, about perception. And sometimes it's pretty hard to be perceptive if something crappy happens. I'm talking about if you got to step away for a little while, a little time pass, and look at maybe what could have played out had that not happened. Right?
Yeah. Contessa, that's a really good question. Contessa Martins. She says, I am surprised there aren't many more millionaires with everyone manifesting money. Do you want to know something though? There could be, because everyone's constantly switching timelines. We constantly are. So, and we're,
or maybe you're not meant to have that experience.
Well, if that could be
incarnation. Maybe not you. I'm saying you, global you, for anybody listening, anybody out there. Could happen with anybody. Somebody could have made the choice to experience life from a perspective of not having, or the belief of not having enough, right?
But you want to hear my
not
theory?
Rolling in the dough that you could go out and spend it on whatever you want. No, if you want to change it, you could.
You could. Tell me if you agree with this, Lorilei. I love this question. It's such a great question. So you're surprised there aren't many more millionaires with everybody manifesting money. That's true. But you got to remember this. In order to manifest something, what has to happen? You have to believe it. You can't see it until you believe it. So maybe a lot of people aren't believing their own manifestations. The world always tells us that. I'm
still working on it.
Yeah, the world tells us that, and you never give up, right? You just keep going, because you know in your heart it's going to happen one day.
Okay, so I wanted to point this out with no judgment, no disrespect in any way, Desiree, and we're really glad you're here. And anybody else that popped in for the first time, we really are really glad to have you all here. She said, because money is the root of all evil. Now, that is a belief system that we hear while we're growing up from different aspects, right? And it's a belief we can hang on to. Can money be used for evil purposes? Absolutely. But there are people that have a lot of money that actually do use it for good purposes. It's all, I think that, you know what, there's always a theme that comes out tonight. Almost seems it's all about perspective.
It is. It's your belief systems are big, though. I mean, your belief systems hold us back. Desiree, and you can have that belief. That is just fine. I used to have that belief long time ago. I used to always believe money was the root of all evil. I used to always believe that I was never worthy of having that money, nor would I, because those people are evil. Until I started to have literally zero money, and I started studying like the Kabbalion and all that stuff. And it is a belief. If you hold a belief system, it keeps you from it. So if you do believe that money is the root of all evil, you're never going to have it ever. It's just not going to happen. Because like Lorilei said, and I agree with her 100%, and my guide said the same thing. Money isn't evil. It's just sometimes
Just an
evil
energy
people.
source.
Yeah, sometimes evil people have a lot of money. That's all it is. It doesn't mean, money doesn't.
This is a good point too. Okay. And I'm still working on manifestation, and a lot of beliefs we hang on to. Like I always heard money didn't grow on trees. I mean, there's many beliefs, and I'm not blaming a parent, but we do hear things growing up that we file away, and then believing yourself worthy. And I do agree with this. And I think it was our good friend Carrie Lynn Shellhorn who mentioned it on one of her shows. I'm positive it was, but it was a good point. And what it is, and she, by the way, she has Spirit Switchboard tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check her show out. It's awesome. And she's a good friend of ours. But I thought she had a good point. You're never going to say to yourself and make yourself believe when you look in the mirror with an affirmation that I am, for example, I'll use myself, I am at my perfect weight, and on and on and on. Your subconscious knows you're BSing. But if you say I'm at the perfect weight for myself today, and I'm going to continue eating healthy and working on losing weight at a slow, healthy pace. I'm using me as an example, okay?
But I agree with you.
Because I agree with what somebody, I want to say it was Heidi, you have to believe it, see it, feel it, be it. Yes, but why not, especially when we're working on worthiness? A lot of us have issues that we hang on to that we don't even realize that we don't consider ourselves maybe to be worthy of a large sum of money. Mm-hmm. So I'm working on that myself. So for me, working on amount that I will be financially comfortable, right? Like I said, manifesting a vehicle right now and working on that. And it'll happen because Mish, I think you said how many of us actually have the money we need to get the things we want. You can and you will. I do.
You can, yeah. I agree with you, Lorilei. That's absolutely 100%. And you remember this, though, the universe always gives you what you need. Because if you think about it, you have everything you need. It's what we want.
And in this moment, I learned that years ago with my first husband. I was worried about money. I hurt my back. I didn't know if I could go back to work. I didn't. I had 2 small children, and I was going for something called Body Talk. We are running out of time. This fastest 2 hours.
I want to applaud you and tell you about something. Lorilei made a good point. So listen to you guys, because this is one of the first things. I throw my light on. One of the first things that I learned by studying the Kabbalion, which is like the 3 initiatives, the secrets from the universe, the Bible, all that other stuff. Anyway, like she said, perfect. The affirmation is not, I am going to lose weight, or you don't want to say I'm going to, that puts it in the future.
It wasn't even I'm going to lose weight. It's I'm at my perfect weight. Right. When you know that you need to lose weight, you're not.
Yeah, exactly. So you have no belief in it. That's what I mean. But when she took out the part where you need to
I was using me. She gave up the concept, Carrie Lynn. I was using me as
and that's perfect what you said. She said every day I'm getting thinner and thinner. Every day I make good choices for food. Every day I'm getting to my goal, because you're not putting it in the future. You're putting it in the present. So you're doing it now. But like Lorilei said,
accept who you are in the moment. But what I was starting to say too, asking yourself what you have in the now. Okay. Because think about it. And this is where the Body Talk came in. I was stressing. I was having this session done, and the person taught me the biggest part of wisdom years ago that I've never forgotten. She said, Lorilei, do you have a roof over your head right now? Yes. Do you have money to feed your children? Yes. Do you have everything you need right now in this moment? And I started to argue and say, yeah, but what about in the future? She said, do you have everything you need in the moment? And I said, oh my God, yes, I do. And I realized that's all we have is now. That's already in the past, that word. And you know what? It made me realize, and then you look back on things. I can tell you sometimes there have been months have been tight because I'm on a pension, not by choice. I have a special needs son, not being a victim here. And my partner is not working when he's not. And I'm putting a roof over everybody's head. But I can tell you, Every month when I think maybe there's been a month where I might not make it, I look back on it with such joy and gratefulness because something always happens. And yes, I do have the money to
It
buy the
does.
things that I want and everything else. It works out. Jump in the net will appear. I believe in that.
Yeah, when I used to do my TikTok lives, I don't charge for my lives. But then I would tell people it's some kind of energy exchange. She'll follow me or do something. You'd be surprised. I would say that. And then I would do this tons of free readings and all this. I'd go, look, nobody subscribed to nothing. Nobody did nothing. They just got their free reading and ran. So I got mad. And then when I got mad, my guys are like going, do you like to do this? And I'm like, I'd love to do this. And they said, well, then drop that. Drop thinking that you have to have something for exchange and just do that, okay? Just try it. So I did. One day I went there. I didn't care. Anyway, it was on a Saturday afternoon. I ended up having I didn't even make the announcement. After I was done, I got booked like 4 or 5 appointments, and I had all this extra money from Buy Me a Coffee that they did.
We have had these conversations before you transition to what you're doing.
Yeah.
You guys, we are out of time. I hate this that we are, but it's the fastest 2 hours. And anybody that's been here a long time, Dave and I do get into discussions, and we don't sometimes agree, but it's a beautiful thing to see because Dave and I are really good friends. We will always be really good friends, and we're not angry with one another.
And we don't discount it. Yeah, we never discredit anybody. We just like to put our opinions out there because that's what we do. That's what this show's about. So
you guys stay tuned for the Outer Realm coming up next. It's the second night with the amazing Michelle DeRoche, who I think they're live. I'm pretty sure they are. They may a lot of people sometimes do a pre-record over the holidays. Can't blame it's Christmas or holiday week, but I think they're live at 9:00. If not, they'll have an incredible replay. Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano coming up next. Go ahead, Dave. And wait, before we go, tell them next week's our anniversary show. Go ahead. That's all I want.
Oh yeah, we'll tell them next week is their anniversary show. So we'll probably go live in our group. So if you're listening right now, it's going to behoove you. It's going to be a good thing if you go join our group. Our group is called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel. Once you're in there, you can listen to discussions, and like Lorilei just said, you can put stuff in there make posts, do all this stuff, and you'll be just fine. If anybody would like to know more about me or
we got to go live. We said we were going to try over the holidays.
We're going to try to go live probably right after our anniversary show. We'll figure out a time after this. If you'd like to follow me on TikTok or Instagram, look at Medium David Hanzel. Mine has over 97K followers. If it's anything under that, it's not me, and I never ever DM, and neither does Lorilei. We will not DM you to say, we feel you need a reading or whatever. What's your sign? Okay. The only way to get hold of us is by how we tell you. So right now, if you want to get hold of me or learn more about me, you can go to theywhispertome.com. It is my my website, and my YouTube is The Spirit Experience. And that's it, you guys. I'm going to hand it right back over to Lorilei. We had a great time tonight.
We did, you guys. And this wasn't what we were planning. Like Dave and I just go wherever we're going to go. We had all these videos. So who knows? Next week, maybe we'll show you. But you guys, we talked about what we did to give you some food for thought. We want to hear what you guys think, putting the little puzzle pieces together. What do you guys think when you've taken a look at some of the things we've mentioned? Maybe you'll think of something else. Share it in the group. We share the links to the videos that we've got. Now, if you guys ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me right now. I'm going to be changing that though in the new year. It's facebook.com/the Angel Rock, or any social media platform. I'm either under the Angel Rock or Lorilei Potvin. And if that's to book a psychic or mediumship reading, I also help with the paranormal. I don't charge to help with the paranormal. I also do Akashic Records. I do crystal Reiki, energy healing. Most people don't know what that is. I balance your chakras with crystals and Reiki and all kinds of cool stuff. I'm also a spiritual teacher and mentor, so I do that type of stuff. But in the new year, and I am really aiming for this sometime in March to start my first new course. It's not going to be one day. It's going to be 1 day a week for a couple months, and I would love to have you along for the ride. When I do, I'm going to be opening a new domain name website and then tacking on the resin stuff that I've got going with it. Anyways, I also have 2 groups on Facebook: Paranormal University for all things paranormal, Angel Rock or Tribe for all things spiritual. We're going to be, Dave's got to check his schedule, but we are joining. I don't want to speak for you, but I feel in my heart, Dave, that you're going to be there on Sunday.
Most likely. Yeah,
on the Orion Effect on Riff Nation Network with Howie Odell. He's at Ed Odell on Facebook, and his co-host, Rhonda Harris. Monday, I will be back on the Angel Rock, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you guys, it's whatever you want to talk about, because I didn't book a guest. I figure we're ringing in the new year right.
Exactly. Oh, and one last thing. Welcome, Janet.
Yes.
Janet G. And what she said. You guys go ahead and read what she said about the card. That's what we were talking about earlier, manifesting.
Yes, she did. I had it highlighted while we were talking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Fastest 2 weeks of my I swear to God, of my week. And I love doing the Angel Rock. But when Dave and I get talking with all of y'all, even on when I have guests on Monday night, I tell them I have the most incredible audience that comments on and you guys are live. You are kind, you are intelligent, you welcome new people, and we couldn't ask for a better audience. So thank you for all your support for our shows, for the support of the network, and for everybody out there. We love you all so much, because it'll be a new year and we'll be having a 2-year anniversary party next Thursday. I don't know what we're doing. If you guys got some ideas, let the footies know.
Yeah, let us know. And you guys stay spooky, and
Stay
we'll try our outro as we always do. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your
bed? Oh, we're way off. We'll see you all next year. Well, if you come on Sunday to Howie's show, you'll see us, and then I'll see you guys on Monday. But same time, same space. Love you guys. Tell all your friends and family. Stay tuned for Michelle and Amelia coming up right next. Have a good one, guys. Stay safe.